Factory manager who will be responsible for the quantity and quality of products coming off a production line. This will include the maintenance of the production line and other necessary repairs. A purchasing manager who will be responsible for providing the materials, components and equipment required for the production. A research and development manager who will be responsible for the design and testing of new production processes and products. Productivity is the output measured against the inputs used to create it. There are a number of ways to increase productivity and EFIM. There's use improved quality of the product and inventory control to reduce waste. Replace employees with machines. Automation. Improve training to increase employee efficiency. Motivate employees more effectively. Introduce new technology. Use more automation. The buffer inventory level is the inventory held to deal with uncertainty in customer demand and deliveries of supplies. Benefits of increasing efficiency. Productivity. Reduced inputs needed for the same output level. Lower costs per unit average cost. Fewer workers may be needed, possibly leading to lower wage costs. Higher wages might now be paid to workers, which increases motivation. Lean production is a term for those techniques used by businesses to cut down on waste and therefore increase efficiency. For example, by reducing the time it takes for a product to be developed and become available for sale. Lean production. Overproduction. Producing goods before they have been ordered by customers. This results in high storage costs and possible damage to goods while in storage waiting. When goods are not moving or being processed in any way, waste is occurring. Transportation. Moving goods around unnecessarily causes waste and is not adding value to the product. Goods may also be damaged when they are being moved around. Unnecessary inventory. If there is too much inventory, then this takes up space, may get in the way of production and costs money. Benefits of lean production. Costs are saved through less storage of raw materials or components, quicker production of goods or services, no need to repair defects or provide a replacement service for a dissatisfied customer, better use of equipment. Kaizen is a Japanese term meaning continuous improvement through the elimination of waste. The advantages of Kaizen might be increased productivity, reduced amount of space needed for the production process, work in progress is reduced. Just-in-time, JIT, is a production method that involves reducing or virtually eliminating the need to hold inventories of raw materials or unsold inventories of the finished product. All this reduces the costs of holding inventory, as no raw materials and components are ordered to keep in the warehouse just in case they are needed. Warehouse space is not needed, again reducing costs. The finished product is sold quickly and so money will come back to the business more quickly, helping its cash flow. Job production is where a single product is made at a time. Batch production is where a quantity of one product is made, then a quantity of another item will be produced. Flow production is where large quantities of a product are produced in a continuous process. It is sometimes referred to as mass production. Advantages of job production. It is most suitable for personal services or one-off products. The product meets the exact requirements of the customer. The workers often have more varied jobs. They don't carry out just one task. More varied work increases employee motivation, giving them greater job satisfaction. Disadvantages of job production. Skilled labor is often used and this raises costs. The costs are higher because it is often labor-intensive. Production often takes a long time. Advantages of batch production. It is a flexible way of working and production can easily be changed from one product to another. It still gives some variety to workers' jobs. Disadvantages of batch production. It can be expensive as semi-finished products will need moving about to the next production stage. Machines have to be reset between production batches, which means there is a delay in production and output is lost. Flow production. This is when large quantities of a product are produced in a continuous process. It is sometimes referred to as mass production because of the large quantity of a standardized product that is produced. It may benefit from economies of scale in purchasing low average costs, and therefore low prices usually mean high sales. Automated production lines can operate 24 hours a day. There is no need to move goods from one part of the factory to another as with batch production, so time is saved. Disadvantages of flow production: it is a very boring system for the workers, so there is little job satisfaction, leading to a lack of motivation for employees. There are significant storage requirements. Costs of inventories of raw materials, components and finished products can be very high unless just-in-time systems are used. Factors affecting which method of production to use: the factors which determine which method of production to use are as follows. The nature of the product. If a fairly unique product or an individual service is required, in fact many services are individual to the customer and will be specifically tailored to their requirements, job production will be used. If the product can be mass produced using an automated production line, then flow production will be used. The advantages of new technology: productivity is greater as new, more efficient production methods are used, reducing average costs. Greater job satisfaction stimulates workers, as routine and boring jobs are now done by machines. More skilled workers may be needed to use and maintain the new technology. Businesses must offer training to existing workers in the use of new technology. The workers may become more motivated and therefore improve the quality of their work. Better quality products are produced owing to more accurate production methods. The disadvantages of new technology: unemployment could rise as machines, computers replace people on the factory floor and in offices. It is expensive to invest in new technology products and machinery. This increases the risks as large quantities of products need to be sold to cover the cost of purchasing the equipment. Fixed costs are costs which do not vary in the short run with the number of items sold or produced. They have to be paid whether the business is making any sales or not. They are also known as overhead costs. Variable costs are costs which vary directly with the number of items sold or produced. Business costs. The costs of operating the factory can be compared with the revenue from the sale of the sports shoes to calculate whether or not the business will make a profit or loss. This calculation is one of the most important made in any business. Economies of scale are the factors that led to a reduction in average costs as a business increases in size. Diseconomies of scale are the factors that led to an increase in average costs as a business grows beyond a certain size. Break-even level of output is the quantity that must be produced sold for total revenue to equal total costs, also known as break-even point. Break-even charts are graphs which show how costs and revenues of a business change with sales. They show the level of sales the business must make in order to break even. The revenue of a business is the income during a period of time from the sale of goods or services. Total revenue equals quantity sold x price. The break-even point is the level of sales at which total costs equals total revenue. Advantages of break-even charts: managers are able to read off from the graph the expected profit or loss to be made at any level of output. The impact on profit or loss of certain business decisions can also be shown by redrawing the graph. Consider again the sports shoe business. Margin of safety is the amount by which sales exceed the break-even point. Limitations of break-even charts. Break-even charts are constructed assuming that all goods produced by the firm are actually sold. The graph does not show the possibility that inventories may build up if not all goods are sold. The simple charts used in this section have assumed that costs and revenues can be drawn with straight lines. This will not often be the case. For example, increasing output to the capacity of a factory may involve paying overtime. Quality means to produce a good or a service which meets customer expectations. What quality means and why it is important for all businesses. Establish a brand image, build brand loyalty, maintain a good reputation, increase sales, attract new customers. Quality products help businesses. But if quality is not maintained, then businesses will lose customers to other brands, have to replace faulty products, or offer to repeat a service that was poor, which raises costs. Quality control is the checking for quality at the end of the production process, whether it is the production of a product or a service. It uses quality inspectors as a way of finding any faults. Quality assurance is the checking for quality standards throughout the production process by employees, whether it is the production of a product or a service. Total quality management, TOM, is the continuous improvement of products and processes by focusing quality at each and every stage of production. Advantages of quality control tries to eliminate faults or errors before the customer receives the product, or less training is required for the workers as inspectors are employed to quality. Drawbacks of quality control: expensive, as inspectors need to be paid to check the product or CENUS identifies faulty products but doesn't find why the fault has occurred, therefore is difficult to solve the problem. High costs if products have to be scrapped. Advantages of quality assurance: tries to eliminate faults or errors at all stages of production before passing on to the next stage. There are fewer customer complaints. Reduced costs if products do not have to be scrapped or reworked or service. Drawbacks of quality assurance: expensive to train employees to check the quality of their own work at each stage of production, relies on employees being committed to maintaining the standard set. Total quality management, TOM, is one approach to implementing a. Advantages of TQM: no customer complaints and so brand image is improved, leading to higher sales. Reduced costs as products do not have to be scrapped or reworked or service. Repeated waste is removed and efficiency increases. Drawbacks of TQM: it is expensive to train all employees to check the product or service. Relies on all employees. Following TOM ideology and accepting responsibility for quality. Total gross domestic product, GDP, is the total value of output of goods and services in a country in 1 year. A recession is when there is a period of falling GDP. Inflation is the increase in the average price level of goods and services over time. Unemployment exists when people who are willing and able to work cannot find. Economic growth is when a country's GDP increases. More goods and services are produced than in the previous year. The balance of payments records the difference between a country's exports and imports. Real income is the value of income, and it falls when prices rise faster than money income. Definitions to learn: ports are goods and services sold from one country to other countries. Impos are goods and SV vices bought in by se country from other ven countries. 12. The exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another. For example, £1, $1.50. Exchange rate depreciation is the fall in the value of a currency compared with other currencies. Fiscal policy is any change by the government in tax rates or public sector spending. Fiscal policy. Tax isn't government spending. All governments spend money. They spend it on schools, hospitals, roads, defense, and so on. This expenditure is very important to some businesses. For example, construction businesses will benefit from a new road building scheme. Defense industries will gain if the government re-equips the army. Bus manufacturers will benefit from government spending on public transport. Direct taxes are paid directly from incomes. For example, income tax or profits tax. Indirect taxes are added to the prices of goods and taxpayers pay the tax as they purchase the goods. For example, VAT. Disposable income is the evil of income a taxpayer has after paying income tax. Profits tax law. Corporation tax, 90190-1911. This is a tax on the profits made by businesses, usually companies. How would an increase in the rate of corporation tax affect businesses? There would be two main effects. Q2 of X at 19F15 Yenum 229. Businesses would have lower profits after tax. Managers will therefore have less money or finance to put back into the business. The business will find it more difficult to expand. New projects, such as additional factories or shops, may have to be cancelled. An import tariff is a tax on an imported product. An import quota is a physical limit on the quantity of a product that can be imported. How would businesses be affected by an increase in an indirect tax? Again, prices of goods in the shops would rise. Consumers may buy fewer